Hello everyone. So today we'll be doing with averages and my name is Mohammed Rafay Sohail. The first question, Michael's average arithmetic mean on 4 tests is 80. So there were 4 tests, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the average amount he got was 80. So the total number or cumulative score he would have gotten would have been 80 into 4, that is 320. Now, what does he need on his fifth test to raise his average to 84? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, in these 4 tests, the total number he has scored or the cumulative number is 320. So how much he needs to score on the fifth test so that the average now equals to 84. So 320 plus x into 5 multiplied by 84. So 5 multiplied by 84 would be 420. So x equals to 420 minus 320 equals to 100. So the correct option is E. Now, second question, Marilyn's average on the 4 test is 80. So again, in the 4 test, 1, 2, 3, 4, the average is 80. So the cumulative score or the total score, if we add all of them up, would have been 320. Because 80 into 4 equals to 320. So these are your total numbers. So regardless of the fact that you have gotten more than 80, less than 80, but the total, if you add all of them up, you will get 320. Now, assuming she can earn no more than 100 on any test, what is the least she can earn on her fifth test? So fifth, sixth, seventh, and still have a chance. What is the least she can earn on her fifth test and still have a chance for an average of 85 after 7 tests? Now, we need to find out this x and what is the lowest number for this x. Now, the lowest number would have been if I score full marks in the next 2 exams. Now, that will going to make this x the lowest. Now, we have 320 plus x plus 200. 100 plus 100 is 200 divided by 7, and average should have been 85 now, and still have a chance for an average of 85. Now, most of the students who are in the school or maybe in the university, they go through this dilemma a lot. So how much they would need to score so that they can improve their average, and how much low they can score still able to maintain their average. So 320 plus x plus 200 equals to 85 into 7. Now x equals to 85 into 7 would be how much? So 7 8s are 56, 7 5s are 35. So 560 plus 35 is 595 minus 520. So x equals to 75. So the correct option is C. Now, Sadrin average arithmetic on 4 tests is 80. Which of the following cannot be the number of tests on which she earned exactly 80 points? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, and 4 tests. Now we need to find out that which of the following cannot be the number of tests on which she earned exactly 80. Now, there can be a scenario that you haven't earned 80 in any of the exams. For example, you scored 70 in the first exam, 75, 85, and 90. Now, if you add all of them up, you are going to get 320. So again, indicating the fact that you can score an average of 80 despite the fact you haven't scored 80 in any of the exams. Now again, so this can hold true. Now 1, so we can have 81 test that contains 80. Now there can be obviously different scenarios as well. So this scenario can also exist that you have 80 in one of the exams. So maybe you scored 75 in the first exam and 82 and 83 in your third and fourth exam. So this will also, if you add all of them up, this will going to equal to 320 divided by 4. Again, we have an average of 80. There can also be a scenario that we score 80 in 2 exams and let's suppose 75 and 85, this will also add up to 320 divided by 4, 80. So this scenario can also exist. Now, obviously, all four exams, 80, 80, 80, and 80, again, the average would be 80. So this scenario can also exist. But 1, 2, 3, 4, if you score 80 in 3 exams, now you can't run away and not have anything other than 80 in order to have average of 80. So it's not that in the 4th exam you can have average of 80 if I score 90. Now, obviously, the average will be higher than 80. And this cannot also, and if you score less than 80, let's suppose you score less than 80, let's suppose you score 70. Again, it will going to pull down the average and the average will not be 80. So this scenario cannot hold true because in order for the average to be 80, your 4th exam should also contain 80 numbers. So this scenario cannot hold true, that you score 80 marks in 3 tests and score something other than 80 in the 4th test and still get the average of 80. So this cannot hold true. What is the average arithmetic mean of positive integer from 1 to 100 inclusive? Now, first we need to understand a concept for sequence. Now, what is your sequence? Sequence is, these are the numbers, and the difference between the consecutive numbers is always the same. So, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is a sequence because difference between each number or each consecutive number is the same. It's 1. Now, there's a very simple method to find out the average for a sequence. Now, the average is basically the median. It's n plus 1 divided by 2. Though the number would be this nth plus 1 divided by 2 number. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so if we want to calculate the average, we can add them up. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 15, 21. So 21 divided by 6 gives us 3.5. So this is your average. Now I can also find out the average by finding the median. So this can only hold true when when we have a sequence. And in a sequence, what is happening that the consecutive numbers that have the same difference. So the difference between any 2 consecutive terms is the same. Now we have 6 terms. So 6 plus 1 divided by 2 is 3.5. So 3.5. So we need to find out this term, 3.5 term. So 1 term, 2 term, 3, 4. So we need to find the middle term. 3 plus 4 divided by 2 is also 3.5. Now let's suppose we have this scenario 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11, and 13. This is also a sequence because the difference between all these numbers, so the difference is the same. The difference is 2 between these consecutive numbers. Now, one way to find out the average would be add them up. 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 7 is 16, 16 plus 9 would be 25, 25 plus 11 would be 36, and 36 plus 13 would be 49. So 49 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 numbers. So average would be 7. Or I find out the middle number or the median. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 plus 1 divided by 2 is 4th. So the 4th term, this is the 1st term, 2nd term, 3rd term, and the 4th term. So the 4th term is 7. So the average will also be, so the average is also 7. Now in this particular case, so obviously we cannot add till 100. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, and we keep on adding it till 100. So we're going to find out the middle term. So middle term would be 100. So we have how many numbers we have? So it's inclusive. So from 1 to 100, we have 100 numbers. So n equals to 100. 100 plus 1 divided by 2 is 50.5th number. So 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. So what is your 50.5th number? So 50.5th number. So this is your 50th number and this is your 51st number. So it is a number between these two numbers. So 50 plus 51 divided by 2 is 50.5. Now, please be vigilant of the fact that this 50.5th doesn't actually means it's the average. It is the number that this is the term that we are looking for. So we are looking for the 50.5th term. So the 50.5th term is the number between 50 and 51, because 50 over here is the 50th term and 51 over here is the 51st term. Now let's suppose your 50th term would have been something other than 50. It should be like, for example, it is 60. And 51st term is 62. So the middle 50.5th term would be 61. But obviously, this is not the scenario over here. So the scenario is quite simple. So the correct option would be D. Now 10A plus 10B equals to 35. So what we need to find out, the average of A and B. So we need to find out this number. So A plus B equals to 3.5. If we divide both of them, so this is the average. So average would be 3.5 divided by 2. So 1.75 would be the answer. Now x plus y plus z, and z plus x equals to 9. So x plus y plus z plus x. So this is, so x and x we have 2x, y and y we have 2y, and z plus z we have 2z. So this equals to 6 plus 7 is 13, 13 plus 9 is 22. So x plus y plus z equals to 11 if we divide both terms by 2. And what will be the average? So we have three variables, x, y, and z. So x plus y plus z divided by 3, and over here 11 plus 3. So this is the term for average, and 11 over 3 would be your answer. So option A is correct. Now the average of 5, 6, 7 and W, so 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus W divided by 4 equals to 8. Now 5 plus 6 is your 11, 11 plus 7 is 18, plus W equals to 32, 8 4s are 32. So W equals to 32 minus 18 we're going to give you a number of 14. So option C is correct. Now, what is the average arithmetic in degrees of measure of 5 angles in a pentagon? Now, let's suppose we want to find out the number of the total number of angles if we add all the angles in pentagon. So what would be that number? Now, before going into that, let's find out for triangle. So triangle has 3 sides, and if we add all the angles, we know that the number would be 180 degrees. So the angle would be 180 degrees. Now, how can we find out? So there's a formula, n minus 2 into 180. So n minus 2, so we have 3 minus 2 into 180 gives you 180. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Now let's suppose we have a rectangle. So a rectangle has 4 sides. So we know that in rectangle, so if you add all the angles up, we get 360. So 4 minus 2 into 180. So 2 into 180 is 360. And now if we have pentagon, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you want to add all these angles, and we need to find out the number. So n is 5. So 5 minus 2 into 180 would be how much? So 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 into 180 is 540. So we know that in pentagon, the total number of, if we add all the angles, so if we add all the angles, so we were going to get 450 degrees. Now we have 5 sides, so 540 divided by 5 would be how much? So 100 plus 8, so 108 would going to give you the average. So what is the average in degrees of measure of 5 angles? So it would be 108 degrees. And why have I written like 100 plus 8? So 500s are 100, 500, 5 8s are 40. So 500 plus 40 is 540. The question 9, if A plus B equals to 3C plus 3 bracket C plus D, which of the following is the average of A plus B plus C plus D? So we need to find out the average of this. So the average would be A plus B plus C plus D divided by 4. We know that A plus B equals to 3C plus D plus C plus D whole over 4. So A plus B equals to this term. If you open the bracket, this will become 3C plus 3D plus C plus D divided by 4. And we can write 4C plus 4D whole over 4. And obviously, if we take 4 as common, so 4 and 4 we're going to cancel out and we will be left with C plus D. So option E is correct. Now, in the diagram below, line L and M are not parallel. And if A represents the average of the degrees measure of all 8 angles, so this is 1 angle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need to find out if A represents the average of the degrees measure of all 8 angles, which of the following is true? Now, if we have a line, like for example, we have this line, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So A plus B plus C plus D will be equal to 360. And if we have this intersection over here, then of course E plus F plus H plus G will again be 360. So if we add all the 8 angles, so this is 360. So A plus B plus C plus D is 360. So 360 plus 360 is going to give us the sum of all degrees. And we have 8 angles, number of angles. So 360 plus 360 is 720 divided by 8. So 8 ones are 8 90s are. So 9 8s are 72. So A, which represents the average of the degree measures of all 8 angles, would be equal to 90. And option C is correct. Now, what is the average of 2 raised to power 10 and 2 raised to power 20? So 2 raised to power 10 plus 2 raised to power 20, and we have two numbers, so we need to divide it by 2. So simplistically, we can write 2 raised to power 10 divided by 2 plus 2 raised to power 20 divided by 2. And this can be written as 2 raised to power 10 minus 1 because this is 2 raised to power 1. So it's in the denominator. When it comes to the numerator, so it will become minus. And this can be written as 2 raised to power 20 minus 1. So 2 raised to power 9 plus 2 raised to power 19. So option C is correct. Now let M be the median and M is the mode of the following set of numbers. So 10, 70, 20, 40, 70, and 90. So first of all, when we need to find out median, we need to place them in order from lowest to highest. So this would be 20, 10, 20, 40, 70, 70, and 90. So simple mode would be 70 because it is occurring twice and all of the other number, they are occurring only once. So mode is the number which occurs the most, and median is your middle number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the n plus 1 divided by 2. So 6 plus 1 divided by 2 is your 3.5th term. So 3.5th term would be, this is 1 term, 2 term, 3 term, and it will be in the middle of 3rd term and your 4th term. So 40 plus 70 divided by 2 is 110 divided by 2, which is 55. So we know that the median is 55. So what is the average of M plus M? So M is your median and M, small m is your mode. So we need to find out the average. So mode is 70, median is 55. So 70 plus 55 divided by 2 equals to 125 divided by 2 is 62.5. The correct option is D. Okay, so now we need to find out which quantity is greater or if they are equal, or we can't find out the answer. Now the average arithmetic mean of the measure of three angles of equilateral triangle. So if it is equilateral triangle, again, the sum of all angles would be 180, and this would be 180 divided by 3. Now the average of the measure of three angles of right triangle. So in right triangle, one angle is 90 and the other can be any other number. But again, we need to understand that the sum of all the angles would again be 180, and the average of the angles, so the average of measure of the three angles would again be 60. And over here again, the average is 60. So both of them, both these quantities are equal. So option C is correct. Now, question 14, 10 students took a test and the average grade was 80. No one scored exactly 80. So this is 80 and no one scored exactly 80. Now, the number of grades over 80. Now, this is a trick question. So let's suppose only one student got above 80, that is 89. And the rest, so only one student got 89 and all the rest 9 students got 79. And none of them obviously got 80. So this is the condition. None of the students, so no one scored exactly 80. Now this also holds true. So 10 students took a test and the average grade was 80. So over here, 79 into 9 plus 89 will going to give you 800. 800 divided by 10 is again 80. So this condition holds true. Now this can also be the condition. The condition can be one student scored 9 students scored 81. So 9 students scored 81. And one student scored 71. One student scored 71. So 71 into 1 plus 9 into 81 will again be equal to 800. And it makes logical sense as well. It makes logical sense because over here one student has scored 71, so there's a difference from 71 to 80 is 9, and over here the excess amount is 1, so there are 9 excess marks over here because 9 student got 81, and the same the case over here. So we have 9 extra numbers to be given to the students who have scored less than 80. So there are 9 students who have scored 79, so the difference is 1, and 9 into 1 is 9. So this 9 would be compensated over here. So again, we cannot say that there are one student, there are 9 students above 80. Or again, this can also hold true that students have scored 81, 82, 83, 84, and 85. And none of them scored 80. And over here, 79, 78, 77, 76, and 75. So this will also hold true and you will going to have an average of 80. So we cannot say which quantity is greater than 5 or less than 5 and so on and so forth. So the correct option would be D. The average arithmetic mean of 2x plus 2y, so 2x plus 2y divided by 2 equals to x plus y, and x plus y, it's a straight line, so the total number of angles would be 180. So 180 equals to 180, hence option C is correct. There are the same number of boys and girls in a club. The average height of the boys is 150, so 150, and the average weight of girls is 110. So the number of boys weighing over 150, we cannot answer this question. We cannot answer this question because there might be a scenario that all of them weigh 150. Still, the average would be 150. If every student weighs 150, then the average will also be 150. So we cannot say how many students there are. And the same the case with girls. So the number of girls weighing over 110. So Maybe there's zero girl weighing over 110 because all of the girls, they weigh at 110. So we cannot come to the conclusion the number of boys or even number of girls who weigh over 110 or 150. So the correct option is D. The average of 22, 38, x plus y, so 22 plus 38 plus x plus y divided by 4, because we have 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4, equals to 15. So 22 plus 38 plus x plus y should be equal to 60. Now this is the condition, x is more than 0. So if x is, so 22 plus 38 is already 60. So 60 plus x plus y equals to 60. So if x is a positive number, even it is 0.1 or 0.2 or 1 or 2, then this expression will go above 60. Hence, y should be a negative number, so that we have an equation that is 60. So if x is 0.1, then y needs to be minus 0.1. If x is 0.2, then y needs to be minus 0.2. So that 60 plus 0.2 minus 0.2 will going to give you 60. So y will always be a negative number. So y is a negative number. So 0 is more than the negative number. Hence option B is correct. The average arithmetic of the even numbers between 11 and 12. So 1 and 11, sorry. 1 and 11. So we have 2, we have 4. So I'm just writing even numbers. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And the average of the odd numbers between 2 and 12. So between 2 and 12. So we have 3, we have 5, we have 7, we have 9, and we also have 11. So we have 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, what will be the average? So this is a sequence, because the difference between any consecutive number is 2. Over here, the sequence is also present, because the difference between two consecutive number is also 2. So what is the middle term? So middle term is 6 over here. And again, if I want to find out the average, 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. 20 plus 10 is 30. So 30 divided by 6 is 30 divided by 5 is 6. So this is your average. Or I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 1 divided by 2 is 3. So this is your third term. This is also your average. Over here, the average would be 7. So 1 has an average. So this has an average of 6. This has an average of 7. And we don't even need to do this. You just look. So each term is more. So 3 is greater than 2. 5 is greater than 4. 7 is greater than 6. 9 is greater than 8. And 11 is greater than 2. Hence, by default, the average of this sequence would be more. So we can even solve this question without even coming up with the average. So B is greater. So option B is correct. Now the average arithmetic mean for 17 plus 217 plus 417 divided by 3. And the average arithmetic mean for 0 plus 17 plus 217 plus 417 divided by 4. Now the numerator in both the case will remain the same, and because we have a 0 over here, and this 0 will actually pull down the average, because now we are dividing this by 4. So definitely A quantity would be greater, because in both the case, numerator, both of them are equal. This quantity A is being divided by 3. So this will going to give you a higher number with respect to quantity B, which is being divided by a larger number. So quantity A is greater than quantity B. So option A is correct. Now y is greater than 0. The average arithmetic mean for x and y, x plus y. So let's suppose x is 1 and y is 9. So x plus y divided by 2 would be 5. So we have average of 5. Over here, the average arithmetic mean for x plus y plus 2y. So this would be 1 plus 9 plus 2 into 9 divided by 4, divided by 3. So 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus 18 would be 28. So 28 divided by 3 would be 7. So in this particular case, quantity B is more than quantity A. But please, you need to be vigilant that this x and y, x can be 9 and y can be 1. In this particular case, over here, the average is 5. But now this would be 9 plus 1 plus 2 into 1 divided by 3. So this would be 10 plus 2 divided by 3 is 4. Now 4 is less than 5. So again, we cannot come to the conclusion that which quantity is greater. So option D is correct. Again, in the end, practice a lot in order for you to get perfect score. So that's it for today's class.